Hey everybody, I'm having this really strange issue in Premiere Pro that when I have a long timeline with a multicam sequence, or multicam clip rather, I am unable to get audio from the individual channels. So if I have this kind of, conversation, this walk and talk, so to speak, I can solo the first track. Go back, Andrew.
Tomorrow. No, I don't know.
As you can tell, it plays back perfectly fine, but when I get her response and I solo her track, it's silence. And I feel like this is a glitch because one of the things that happens is if I take most of this content and I delete it, right? And I just delete it. When I play back her clip, I get audio.
Probably sometime in the summer, like maybe around the time we vacation there.
Yeah, so every year his family goes up to the Winnipesaukee area, and we usually make a pit stop at Fun Spot.
Once again, I'm going to Command Z all of this, and just to prove it, I'm Command Z. Here we go, and I've brought back all of the clips. The timeline is super long. It's about 3 hours with, literally hundreds of cuts. And I go back and I play, just soloing it, nothing on the VU meter, nothing at all. Yeah, it's a strange issue. And I can also, the same thing with these secondary tracks, nothing. And this fourth track, nothing. When soloed. But let me show you the really strange part is without these edits, when this timeline is extremely long, and in this case, this timeline is about 11 hours long. But if I go back to that same section, and this is without any cuts, I haven't deleted any audio tracks, I can actually individually control each track. So in this particular case, I have him speaking, and I'm going to solo his track, and you can hear it.
Be around the time we vacation there.
Yeah, so every year his family goes.
Okay, and now I'm going to solo her track.
Goes up to the Winnipesaukee area, and we usually make a pit stop at Fun Spot, either as a family or at least.
And you get audio, and it's the same thing for these other tracks as well. Just to prove the point.
No, I don't know. Oh, probably sometime in the.
All right. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. If anybody has any answers, that'd be great. But to get into even more detail, just in case you guys want that and it's necessary. So let me kind of explain this timeline real quick. So basically, when I record, I use timecode, and so I use timecode to set up a singular timeline in which I create a multicam sequence. In order to, sync the cameras and sync the respective audio tracks. And just to note, for each and every audio source, I have modified each channel to be stereo. So the way that the audio is set up in this particular timeline is that my first two tracks are from the Blackmagic Pocket 4K and 6K. The second and third audio tracks are from the MixPre 3, and they are set to 96,000 kilohertz at 32-bit. Next is the DR10 at normal audio levels, and this is the DR10 at -12. That's why you can barely see the waveform. This is for his audio. For her audio, it's the same thing. It's another DR10 at normal audio levels, and this is her audio at -12. And the way that I create this trimmed, what I like to call a trimmed timeline, is like this. So what I'll do is I'll take this multicam sequence here, and I'm going to duplicate it. So I will duplicate it, and let's just call this multicam for black video. Okay, that will make sense once I show you how to do this, or at least show how I do this. And in this case, what I'm going to do is delete all the audio and select all the audio separate from the video, and we're going to duplicate it the same number of times as we have active tracks. So duplicate it. We're going to keep going until we get down to the 8th audio channel. And I'm certain there's probably a faster way of doing this. I'm just doing it this particular way because it is relatively safe. So each clip has 8 of the same exact audio channels, or the same exact audio track. So now I'm going to copy, or rather I am going to cut, and I'm going to bring in my bars and tone. I'm going to drop it into the timeline. All right, so I have my bars and tone, and then once again, I'm literally just going to continue to duplicate these until I fill up my 8 audio channels. Select them, and then I'm going to hit Command L or Control L, and I'm going to link them. I'm going to change the label. Let's go to Mango, very vibrant. And I'm going to now paste those clips back onto this particular timeline. Okay. So now, wherever there's bars and tones, there used to be just black there. I'll show you. We have bars and tone, and now we have a clip. Bars and tone, and a clip. One little trick I have to do here. If I don't put at least a frame of bars at the beginning of this particular timeline, it's going to offset each clip. So basically, when I paste this bars and tone into my new sequence using this particular multicam clip, it's going to offset it by the duration of this particular, this first bars and tone. So this is just a workaround. Sorry, this is so long. Okay, so once again, I am now going to select this label group color. So it's going to select all of the bars and tones clip. Copy that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is create a new sequence from this particular clip, which is the multicam, the original multicam clip. So first and foremost, I just want to show that each individual audio channel is playing back without any issue. So this is audio channel, this is the 3rd track. So if I solo it, he's going to be talking.
100-meter dash and 100-meter relay. I also used to do long jump.
All right, and then we're going to go to her audio.
Hello, good, how are you?
Friendly?
All right, she's talking off camera. So I'm going to go back to the home, and I am going to paste the color bars we got from the Andrew Day 3 multicam for black video. All right. And so what we can see here is wherever there's black, I have bars. All right, so I'm going to ripple delete, and it's going to close all the gaps. So now what I'm left with is a timeline with no black, which is cool. This is normally how I do it. But as I mentioned before, I am running into the particular issue. So now let's listen to it soloed. This should be Andrew's audio, so his audio. I'm going to play it from about right here. Nothing. Just nothing. Same thing for her, should be something. Nothing, right? But if I delete most of these particular clips, and it almost is like if the strain on the CPU or the GPU is lessened, then it will play back just fine. So I'm going to get rid of most of this, right? As you didn't hear him before, my guess is that you'll hear him.
Mostly middle school, you know, which I wish I had been able.
All right, I'm going to fast forward just a bit, and I'm going to play her audio. You should hear her.
Hello, good, how are you?
Friendly?
I don't know how, He hasn't interacted with that many other.
But ultimately, when I make a ton of edits in one timeline, I am unable to hear the audio. It just disappears, even though I can see the waveforms, within the clips. I don't see anything on the VU meter until I significantly delete the number of edits within a particular timeline, which isn't a very effective way of working. So just want to see if there were any solutions. Nobody's really going to sit here for 22 minutes and go through this thesis-like issue. But just curious if anybody's had this issue.